Welcome to the Right Here, Right Now live Buffalo Football Talk podcast. It is your co-host, Ajay Cybulski. I am doing it alone today, so for anyone on YouTube tuning in, I greatly appreciate it. Feel free to ask any questions you would like, but we are live here on Right Here, Right Now. But before we get to the inactives and a little bit of a preview for this Bills versus Dolphins primetime showdown, this AFC East divisional showdown, we'd like to thank our sponsor here on Right Here, Right Now, Forefathers Organics in Dansville.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products are USDA certified organic. Discover all natural wellness from farm to table. Visit forefathersorganics.com for more information.
All right, so inactives have been released for this Bills versus Dolphins game here at Hard Rock Stadium in just over an hour. A big week 2 divisional battle, big things on the line. This could be something that means the line down the road for both of these teams. The Dolphins fell to the Bills twice last season and kind of gave them the AFC East so the Bills could capture their 4th AFC East title. So let's get to these inactives here for this game. I got to pull my phone up because there are a lot of them for both sides of the ball. So on the Bills side of things here, not too many surprises. Taron Johnson out. Good news, he was not put on IR today. He was a potential IR candidate, but the Bills decided not to put him on IR, which is a very good thing, but he will be out for tonight's game. Buffalo Joe Andreessen will also be out. Edefanu Lefosio, Javon Solomon, Ryan Vandemark, and Dewan Smoot. So those are the names on the Bills side of the ball. Nothing too surprising. Javon Solomon, Smoot, both missed week 1, as well as Vandemark, Andy Lefosio, and Andreessen. So a lot of similar inactives for the Bills from week 1 to week 2, so nothing too surprising here. On the Dolphins side of things, Devon Achane is good to go. He was questionable going into this one with an ankle injury. Practice on Wednesday with really no limitations. So Achane, good to go for this one. And then also the inactives for the Dolphins, cornerback Ethan Bonner, running back Raheem Mostert. Mostert is a very pivotal piece for this Dolphins rushing attack, so he will be out. That's a big loss. Linebacker Channing Tindall, linebacker Muhammad Kamara, offensive lineman Andrew Meyer, and wide receiver Malik Washington. So there are some inactives on both sides of the ball. So I'm done with my spiel here. We'll discuss more about the inactives after we hear a word from Alex Brasky, who is at Hard Rock Stadium, gave me a little bit of a pre-recorded video discussing his thoughts on tonight's game, and I will be back here in a few minutes.
All right, AJ, here waiting for kickoff at Hard Rock Stadium. This one's going to come down to the trenches. It's going to come down to whether or not the Bills can get pressure on Tua Tagovailoa and whether or not the Bills can protect Josh Allen. Allen dealing with that hand injury. We may see him kind of scale things back in the running game, maybe a little bit more James Cook, Ray Davis against a Miami front that is in transition, lost Christian Wilkins during the offseason and a few new pieces up front. Also dealing with a few lingering injuries. Jalen Phillips came back off the Achilles. He had a sack in week 1, but still working through the kinks up front. Look for the Bills to establish the run early and often and take some of the pressure off Josh Allen that they heaped so much of on him last week against the Cardinals. 4 touchdowns, really putting that Superman cape on, working his way to the victory. I expect it to be a little bit more of a committee-style approach this week with the running game involved. Also, maybe Dalton Kincaid, an increase in production, just 1 catch in week 1. Expect the Bills to try to get him a little bit more involved. The Cardinals really committed a lot of defense to Kincaid during week 1. We'll see what the Miami defense game plans and schemes up in order to stop Kincaid this evening. Josh Allen is going to have to put forth another quality performance. A team still in transition, especially on the offensive side of the ball with the wide receiver room. Still trying to gain that rapport with Allen. Looked good in week 1. 9 different receivers caught passes. Mac Hollins with a touchdown. Khalil Shakir with a touchdown. So look for Allen to continue to try to build upon that chemistry. And like I said, maybe scale things back in the running game due to that hand injury. On the defensive side of the ball for the Bills, Greg Rousseau, 3 sacks in week 1, looking for 2 more in week 2 to tie Bruce Smith for 5 in the first 2 weeks. That would be the second Bills player to do so over the course of the first 2 weeks. So Rousseau looking to build on a strong week 1 performance and look for the interior defensive line to get more involved in this game than they were week 1. Daquan Jones, Ed Oliver. Miami's weakness on the offensive line is on the interior at the guard position. So I think this could be a big day for Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones this evening at Hard Rock Stadium. The special teams have to be better for the Bills tonight against the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill did return a punt last week, so they'll have to keep an eye on that. And the Bills gave up the 96-yard kick return last week to the Cardinals, so certainly going to have to do better in kick coverage. And Tyler Bass with that kick that rolled out of bounds. Hopefully none of that this evening for the Bills. I have the Bills winning this one 30-27. Back to AJ with your game preview.
And there was Mr. Alex Brasky live from Hard Rock Stadium. All 4 of you in here, if you have any comments or any questions before this game gets underway here, feel free to put them in the comments. I will get to them. Josh Allen leaves the bus this morning. A couple of videos spread throughout social media. And no wrap on that left hand, as well as he was kind of carrying his duffel bag with it, kind of using it with no really limitations. So that's a good sign. Alex posted pregame that he was wearing a glove on that left hand in warmups. So we'll see if he does go the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning route and throws on the glove during the game and kind of rocks with it. But yeah, the Dolphins are coming off a 20-17 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars, a come from behind victory similar to the Bills. The Jaguars had every opportunity to put it away in the third quarter. Travis Etienne up the middle at about the 10-5 yard line, the Dolphins side of the field, was about 5 yards away from the end zone, was stripped of the ball rolls through and is down in the end zone, recovered by Miami. That kind of flipped the script of that game. So the Dolphins ended up bringing one home and starting the year 1-0. On the Bills side of things, the Buffalo, obviously we know the 17-3 come from behind victory. Josh Allen kind of led the way, 4 total touchdowns, over 270 total yards, and just a dominant force. The defense obviously stepped up in that second half. So that's kind of where things settled coming off of week 1. And now looking ahead to week 2, Alex, I think it hit it spot on, nail in the head with the trenches. I think that's what a lot of games come down to in the NFL is the battle along the offensive and defensive lines. The defensive line for the Dolphins did lose a Christian Wilkins, who in years past has done some pretty questionable things right to Josh Allen when he was under center or after the play. Some unquestionable things going on there with what Christian Wilkins used to do. And not only that, but he was a very good player for that Dolphins defensive line. So a huge loss there. But they still have some quality pieces. Calais Campbell comes over in free agency. Jalen Phillips is a good player off the edge for them. So maybe they can make life tough for those Bills offensive linemen and those tackles and guards of the Bills. So, and we'll see how that unfolds moving forward here. Linebacking wise, David Long Jr., Jordan Brooks, 2 guys that have a lot of experience in this league. And then the secondary, the Jordan Poyer return game. Jordan Poyer will be going against his former team, which is pretty astonishing. There was a video shared on social media. I forget off the top of my head who. I believe it was Thad Brown. And he said he was taking a video of basically Poyer, hugging everybody and saying his kind of hello and goodbyes before the game because he's got a game to play, right? There's a game going on tonight. He's got to kind of put those emotions to the side. Jordan Poyer, I'm sure, is very highly anticipating this matchup as we go into it. But now that it's here, I'm sure he's very, very excited for it. So there's that. In terms, again, the injuries and the inactives, Taron Johnson will be out this evening. He was not placed on IR. I know I mentioned that earlier in the show, but that's a good sign for the Bills in terms of his long-term health. But again, out today, that means the Bills are going to have to count on Cam Lewis, again, the former UB product, who finished with 7 solo tackles last week and 9 total. And a really good effort from him. He was all over the field, right? Great in run support, had a couple of good coverage opportunities in the game and fared well in those. So you like to see him continue to kind of build his career and continue to kind of get it rolling here with a huge test against the Dolphins offense that's scary with the Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, Durham Smythe. They have a lot of kind of Braxton Berrios mixes in there. So I think that's where you get with that. And then like Alex said with the trenches, I think this is going to be a huge game for them. The Bills offensive line is going to have to hold up, allow Allen to get through his reads, allow him to find Dalton Kincaid. I want to see more of him tonight in this one. And then defensively, I think the Bills defensive line, like Alex said, also can maybe continue to expedite what they did in week 1 and really put on a strong performance. Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, kind of quiet in that week 1 contest against the Cardinals, but now you have an opportunity to go against Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg, two, I would say less than ideal guards. I think you can. They're not the greatest players, and you look at maybe the Bills can take advantage of that. And then the right tackle, Austin Jackson, Teron Armstead's one of the top tackles in the league. So pretty good tackles there for the Dolphins, but I think the Bills' interior pass rush can get it done. Greg Rousseau needs 2 more sacks to tie the most sacks through 2 games in Bills history, tying Bruce Smith. So that's interesting to see if he can continue that. He was asked about, or Coach McDermott was asked about that during the week, and he kind of said, Rousseau, he's on pace he's not a math major, but he's on pace for 51. So kind of maintaining those expectations, right, and not taking it too far, not expecting too much, not expecting too much less. Just kind of find your niche, continue to play football the way you do, continue to prepare, because he's had a great training camp preseason that's really rolled into the regular season so far. So I think the Bills defensive line can really take advantage tonight. They're going to have to get to Tua quick. The Bills secondary is going to have to kind of work in unison there to get Tua off of his first reads. They're a high, motion team. They do a lot of pre-snap motion to try and confuse you. That's going to mean a lot on Dorian Williams' plate to try and understand which way the play is going, even if they're sending, a Tyreek Hill across the formation or something like that. That's going to be huge. Dorian Williams is going to have to stay disciplined and be in the right spot, which you saw in his rookie year. He struggled with a bit at times. And also, the Dolphins do a lot of play action. So they like to really implement the run in early. Achane is active. I mentioned that previously, and he's a huge weapon for them. He had a lot of plays schemed for him in week 1 against the Jaguars. So I think they're really going to continue to kind of put him in positions to just show off that speed, that straight line speed, put blockers in front of him and get in space. And the Bills secondary, the linebackers, the defensive line, they're all going to have to be aware of where Achane, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle are going to be at all times, because their speed can, break a game open. And just like that, you could be staring at a 7-point deficit right in the face really early. So I think for the Bills, the key is this. You cannot go behind 17-3 again against this Miami Dolphins team. They're too explosive. They're too talented to, fall in a rut like that, 17-3 like they did against Arizona in week 1. Now, I'm not saying that the game would be over if that were the case. The Bills obviously still have the potential to beat anyone in this league. With Josh Allen, you really do at any point in any game. But if you fall behind in a hole against an AFC East divisional foe early, I think that could give them some trouble, especially in that second half. We'll see who gets the ball first. That's really up in the air too. The coin toss, that's always a fun thing to see. What if the Bills win the toss, do they elect to receive or do they defer? So we'll see where they go with that. I think this is also a big game again for Bobby Babich, who showed great halftime adjustments in week 1 against the Cardinals, was kind of using too much of a quarterback spy in the first half of that game. You felt like he was not able to kind of the players especially were not able to execute what he was trying to put on the field in terms of that quarterback spy. Dorian Williams was beat a couple times, and it just felt useless. Halftime adjustments was able to send a lot more linebackers and safeties up the middle, up those A gap, B gaps, and really get to Murray, make him uncomfortable. And that was really the difference in that game in terms of why the defense took over it. So a different quarterback with Tua. Will the Bills interior, will they try to continue that interior pass rush to force Tua off his spot, run his throwing on the run isn't that great too. So can you get him off his feet and really make an impact play? So all in all, I think this Bills team has what it takes to compete with this Miami team, even down Taron Johnson and Matt Milano. It will be interesting to see how the Bills respond to that injury. And last but not least, special teams. It needs to be better, like Alex said in his little 3-minute spiel there earlier in the episode. I think this Bills special teams unit, Tyler Bass, needs to be smarter, right? You can't be kicking the ball out of the end zone. There's no really excuses tonight. There's no wind. It's a little hot and humid. It's Miami. That's the case always, especially it's still only early September, so it's going to be hot down there. But they have to take care of the ball on special teams, be sound there, and just be efficient. Whether it's Brandon Codrington, who I thought fared well early in that Cardinals game on kick returns, if the Dolphins are to not kick it through the end zone. I think this Bills punt returning unit and kickoff returning unit can, maybe make something happen here. And I think that's going to be a huge thing for this game too. Special teams is always an important phase. Sean McDermott preaches it. And I think they need to improve there if they want to get the win. All 8 of you, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Anything regarding this Bills-Dolphins matchup, I'm, definitely would love to answer some questions here, some interactions. Maybe I won't end the stream until I get a question, but someone in here ask me a question, and I'll try and give the best response here that I can give. I will, though, move to my prediction in this one. I know I put it out on Twitter earlier, and it was also in yesterday's episode of Right Here, Right Now. But I think the Bills do come away with a 31-27 victory. Josh Allen, 11-2 in his career against the Dolphins, dealing with that left hand injury. But like I mentioned previously, seemed like he wasn't favoring it too much in the videos that were shared on Twitter. So that's a good sign he might not have any limitations. I think James Cook could be in for a big game. I want to see a little bit more Ray Davis moving forward. I think he should get some more opportunity. He's a power runner. He really runs hard, and I think he can set a tone and physicality. So I like this Bills team against this Dolphins defense. And then the Bills defense just needs to play smart, disciplined, and try to keep everything in front of you. Don't overcommit. Don't get, too engaged in all the pre-snap motion or the play action. You really got to stick to where you're supposed to be. Trust the scheme. Trust that Bobby Babbage and Sean McDermott are putting you in the correct positions to succeed. And I think they'll be able to get the job done. Now, Miami could, of course, shred the Bills' defense apart, and they can't have no answers for Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. That's always a possibility because of how great they are. But in years past, and I think with what the Bills have going this year, I think they have enough pieces to at least maybe slow down a little bit of the Dolphins' offense and what they want to do. The Dolphins were, by any means, not that great in week one. So with that, that's a pregame spiel. I've been talking here for about 10 minutes in a row. So we are about 1 hour, 15 minutes away from kickoff. Thank you all for tuning in to Right Here, Right Now. We greatly appreciate all the views. Please like, share, subscribe this on all platforms. And I might be going all night if I wait for a question. So I'm going to wrap it up here on Right Here, Right Now, live Buffalo football talk presented by Forefathers Organics. Alex has the Bills. I got the Bills. It's going to be a fun night at Hard Rock Stadium. Stay tuned for after the game, where me and Alex will provide you with a post-game edition of Right Here, Right Now, discussing the outcome and all the X's and O's and stats and all that stuff from this Bills-Dolphins matchup. So before we go, one more word from our sponsor, Forefathers Organics in Dansville.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency, using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products are USDA certified organic. Discover all natural wellness from farm to table. Visit forefathersorganics.com for more information.
And that will do it for the Bills versus Dolphins pregame show. It's your co-host, Ajay Cybulski, and we will see you after the game. Enjoy the game. Have a good night. Peace out.